This message is sponsored by Greenlight. With school out, summer is the perfect time to teach our kids real-world money skills they'll use forever. Greenlight is a debit card and the #1 family finance and safety app used by millions of families, helping kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely. Parents can send their kids money and track their spending and saving, while kids build money confidence and skills in fun ways. Start your risk-free Greenlight trial today at greenlight.com/Wondery. That's greenlight.com/Wondery. Everyone knows that feeling, wanting to experience more stories, but struggling to find the time. That's where Audible changes everything. With over 1 million audiobooks and Audible originals, there's a story waiting to spark anyone's imagination. Take The Paris Apartment by Lucy Foley, the gripping psychological thriller that's keeping listeners on the edge of their seats. Imagine unraveling its mysteries during your morning commute, or losing yourself in its twists and turns while doing household chores. That's the magic of Audible. It transforms daily routines into opportunities for thrilling discoveries. The best part? Members get access to thousands of included titles, with new content added regularly. From bestsellers to hidden gems, every genre imaginable is at their fingertips. And with one easy-to-use app, switching between favorites or discovering new passions has never been simpler. There's more to imagine when you listen. Start a free 30-day Audible trial and get your first audiobook free at audible.com/Wondery. That's audible.com/Wondery.
In the time it takes you to actually board a flight from Group 8...
Now boarding Premier Altitude Elite Club members.
You could have bought a Hyundai on Amazon. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details. Limited availability, pickup through participating Hyundai dealer in select markets.
Thanks for being here with me through all of these episodes and hearing about what I was dragged through and the depths Rachel would go to keep her scam alive. But here's a warning. As if everything Rachel had done to me over the years wasn't already cruel enough, what you're about to hear will bring this scam to new lows. Rachel's messages documenting her treatment in the hospital was just her way of putting me through an emotional roller coaster for sport. None of her messages are true. All these details are well documented, and there really is only one reason it all happened. She needed attention. She needed someone to feel bad for her, and it never occurred to her that it was breaking my heart and ruining my life every minute of every day. I got no peace, ever. I was in constant sorrow, and the person I thought that loved me more than anything was just torturing me for entertainment. A quick reminder before I document her medical treatment. She was never in the hospital. She never had cancer. That being said, Rachel's cycle of doxorubicin started on May 5th. She had heart issues immediately during her first treatment, and her heart rate was elevated to scary levels, over 300, she claimed.
Coded 1 shock seconds at around 3:20 p.m. Heart rate reached 396. Heart restarted. Immediately received a shot and sedatives. I was given 2 bags of fluid. Suffered a lack of oxygen to the brain, which has presented a new set of issues, which are only temporary. The loss of oxygen caused swelling in the brain. This leads to confusion, memory loss, balance issues, and some other issues. The brain is not overly swollen. This is easily remedied. Started new med routine, including 3 heart meds. They will run a series of tests starting tonight and tomorrow. These tests will check for brain damage, hypoxia, heart damage to the muscle, chambers, and blood flow. Results and medication will follow accordingly.
In these handwritten notes that I saw was a detailed plan to help keep her on point and keep her out of the hospital, including getting plenty of rest. This Dr. Steele, the cardiologist from the MD Anderson team, had prescribed her a medication that was to be taken multiple times a day. It would keep her asleep nearly around the clock to allow her heart to rest. But one of the things at the end of the note said, include Harry in the medical plan, on calls, and in the loop. This was a line that was written to keep me off her back. By this time, in May of 2022, I had asked her a dozen times about being included, But there was always a different excuse or explanation. It would only get worse for me. Her condition would also get worse. And it would be a year from this point that I would actually begin to hear from this Dr. Holt character that she told me about.
First, there is definitely something in her brain or head going on that no one can figure out because she is unresponsive. Wouldn't even blink for the doctor this morning to answer questions. But tears came out when exams were done and others were in the room. So there's something somewhere happening. A pain response possibly. A PTSD or shock response possibly. You may be right about that. One thing is that the tests have shown is part of the rib and spine pressing on her nerves. There is a possibility of paralysis in the upper extremities from them moving her for exams or inserting the tube they moved her, and could have caused something inside to press on, or even damage a nerve or group of nerves. So we are at a point no one knows what her mind is like because she won't communicate in any way. No blinks, no response, no moving her eyes left and right in response. Nothing from her. Then we ask why. Then we go to the physical. Can she squeeze her hand? Can she turn her head, etc.? If she would even make a motion with her eyes, we could eliminate some of these questions we have. I have 2 specialists on it. Neither are here in person, but they are both requesting tests to be run, and they will review the results. Both close friends of mine and both very good at what they do. I will be back again later today to update you on what I know. I'm not sure what extent we have her, but I will get to the bottom of it.
Then more from Holt.
The tests confirm that she has injuries from the CPR and may have been worsened by being moved after the event, and while changing the catheter and inserting the tube. The movement itself could have caused the nerve to be pressed on or damaged. She will have surgery around 8 p.m. this evening and begin pre-op now. I am worried about her heart, but it will be monitored closely, and if it is an issue, they will stop. I would like to try and repair the damage now so it's not permanent, if possible. I fear if we wait it will the legs all over again. I can't stay all night. I will check in and be notified of any events or complications through the night.
I was also not hearing from Rachel's daughter during this time. I'd been told that she wasn't doing well mentally, and she was also angry with me for lying by omission regarding her mom's condition. Rachel was playing this perfectly, the third act of her play. She was essentially not responding to me or to Holt at all, starting after the September 10th event. Holt was spending hours at a time with Rachel. He'd keep me posted on his arrival and departure, and he'd provide some updates. Nothing of consequence. One thing we did discuss during this period of time was that it might be helpful, even though she wasn't communicating with anyone and appeared to be in a catatonic state. I had inquired about sending videos to her, getting him or her daughter to play them for her. I spent some days talking to her through videos. Holt would hold the phone up to her and I would talk to her. I'd play my guitar. I'd do anything and everything I could think of to try to get a response from her. I'd get these messages from him in response to the videos I was sending.
She obviously recognizes you. I have seen a couple of tears, and she has squeezed my hand twice. At least we are getting something out of her. She is in there. I know it.
I was upset. I told him I feared that Rachel was gone. I was scared, and I was heartbroken, thinking that I'd never see her again. This roller coaster ride of emergencies went on and on. Looking back on it now, I'm just wondering, was she sitting at home bored, trying to fill the time? Maybe she was watching a TV show where someone was in an emergency room and she would just text me those details like they were her own. Like on June 5th, 2022, when she claimed she had a heart attack and a possible stroke. An ambulance was sent to pick her up. I don't know, I could go on and on. There are many episodes documenting how she was fucking with me, the fake bullshit over months and months. But ultimately, all you really need to know is that this was the day that she entered the hospital for that stay that ran 563 days until I received that phone call from her husband on December 20th of 2023. I spent 563 days of my life not being able to see the woman that I loved, who I thought was dying. I felt no happiness. For 563 days, I was virtually alone for 563 days. I'm sure there are some people out there who wonder why I just don't let it all go. Let me ask you this question. If someone spent 2 years of their life making sure that every single day the only thing you do was feel pain and suffering, would you just let it go? Over the fall of 2024, I received a message from one of our social media followers about something which was crazy to me. It was a screenshot of Rachel at a cancer benefit for a group called Bailey Strong. Bailey was a young girl in Paso who lost her courageous battle to cancer. I get emotional just thinking about it and talking to you about it. Her family has continued to raise money to help find a cure, and they do that through various benefits. And when I opened this picture, I couldn't believe it. It was Rachel and 2 of her daughters at a benefit at Chipotle in Paso in September. And there she was. Surely, Rachel couldn't be fool enough to parade around at a cancer benefit while this story of mine was out there for her community to see and hear, but there she was. My social media was active, and the residents of Slow County were becoming aware of who Rachel was and the scam that she had run. I couldn't believe it. But as the daughter formerly known as Madison says, is anybody really surprised?
We, the Brain Candy Podcast, that is, are hoping to reach ladies like you.
If you like interesting fun facts, laughter, learning, quirkiness, and hilarity,
Join us every Monday and Thursday for new episodes hosted by me, Susie Meister, PhD in Religious Studies.
and me, Sarah Rice, AMFT.
We're looking to make actual, real personal connections and a community.
Come on, ladies, give us a click and come join us.
At one point during the fall of 2024, I got a text message from Mark one day, which is not a rare thing at this point. The message was a picture. I opened it, and it was an ultrasound. He said it completely slipped his mind that in 2015, Rachel sent him, her own husband, a fake ultrasound. She claimed that they'd be having another baby, this one a miracle baby, because of course, Mark knew she had her tubes tied in 2010. She loves this scam. She loves the pregnancy track almost as much as the cancer track. Why is that? I found a number of men that Rachel has scammed. These are men that I'm just now finding, quite literally as we're in the middle of this season. Men with similar stories to mine, one with an almost identical story of fake cancer and fake pregnancy, lost to a miscarriage back in 2011. You know, I'm truly at a crossroads with this podcast. I wondered, do I spend time and effort going through and detailing more about the cancer and the pregnancy, the fake cancer? Or do we start talking about all the men that she's done this to? Do I tell their stories? Or do I just lock in and work on the only true that this story needs? And you know what I mean, don't you? This can't end with me being happy. I'll never get over this. This can't end with all those other men feeling better that they weren't alone in this. They have their scars too. This can only end one way, with Rachel locked up in prison for the crime she's committed. And that is what I'm focused on. We're going to hear more about that in upcoming episodes. Let's get back to some of these men, these other men that she did this to. She scammed Brad right out of high school with the story of twins to get him to stay in Houston with her. She scammed another man named Greg, not only with an ultrasound, but with the cancer scam. They worked together at Wells Fargo in Morro Bay. She claimed to have lost that baby as a result of chemo. She had another affair with a man named Alex at Wells Fargo as well. Also, during her days at Wells, she gained access to identification documents for a woman named Rosie, who was Mark's niece. Rosie lived with Mark and Rachel for a short period of time. Instead of Rachel thanking Rosie for helping with the kids and the family and around the house, Rachel opened up a line of credit for Rosie in her name at Wells. And then she charged up thousands of dollars on that card. And then she defaulted on it. Rosie never pressed charges, and she didn't find out about it until she went to buy a home, and her credit was trashed. At around the same time, she told her family and Mark that she had cancer in 2012. She would disappear for treatment during this time. And we've tied those overnight trips for days at a time to another man named Mark, whom she had an on and off affair with, starting when she moved to LA to work at the strip joint in 2001. She connected with him in 2012 and then again in 2019. She had taken an engagement ring from this man as well in 2019, and she's alleged to have taken some money from him. The only man I can find that she actually took money from. I want to take you back to September 10th of 2023. This was the day that Rachel's daughter told me that she had been pronounced dead. You heard the words in the note on Rachel's phone that Dr. Holt and I would keep. This event, when she coded and was pronounced, it was something that was made to be a catastrophic event on multiple levels. First, she wanted to create the drama of coding. That's undeniable. Bring yourself right to death's door. She allowed for a doctor to not give up on her after one of the other doctors called it. She had a hero come to her rescue, as if to send me the message, see that the doctors, they're not all bad. But what followed over the coming days and weeks was just more of the emotional terrorism, which she specialized in, delivered right through her phone to my phone. After that note from Holt, I didn't hear from him for a few days, and I kept updating her note on my end. I wanted him to know if she started to communicate. Now, it's worth reminding you that this period of time after the major coding event is one that did coincide with her starting to spend time with Russ, from what I put together after she was exposed. What she did on my end was she pretended to be in a state that was almost catatonic. Lights are on. Nobody's home. And this is the first contact I had from Holt after that coding event.
Something just dawned on me. When she came around on Wednesday night, she was responsive, and I believe she tried to write. Yesterday in the morning, prior to the exam, she had music playing on her phone, and she was responsive. She apparently turned it on herself. She had that exam and battery of tests all lasting almost 6 hours. The catheter, change, a few other things. I'm not trying to accuse anybody of anything, but maybe it is PTSD. Maybe she's just terrified, I don't know, but you need to be aware that she was responsive Wednesday night, and she was responsive yesterday morning, and after all that, everything went to hell. Yesterday, while she was resting, she would close her eyes for a few minutes, and then open them very wide, like she was startled or scared. I believe that to be important information.
I wrote back to him and said, think about what she's been through in her life for a minute, and I'll share with you that you don't know 80% of it. She's out of it. She's groggy. She's had all these exams and tests, and then there are 2 men that she's never seen before between her legs with her legs open. And she's naked, and she can't feel it to know what they're doing. One of her triggers with PTSD is having her legs held open. I believe she's stuck similarly to where she was stuck when she came out of that surgery on May 5th, thinking she was there because Mark put her in the hospital. I think it's PTSD. I didn't hear back from Holt that day. Another day would pass, and then he got back to me with some information. I wrote back again. I'm the one constant through this entire stay, Dr. Holt. Through every bit of it, on every level. Every single day from morning till night, I'm with her. I've slept with a phone under my pillow for 15 months. There's never been a time that she or her daughter couldn't get to me. I'm on call, and I will be for the rest of her life. I'm pleading with you to let me see her. I've known her for 23 years, half her life, and if anyone can get a response out of her, it's me. I will drive there. I will fly there. You can quarantine me for a week, give me shots, put me in one of those protective suits. I would do anything I can to help her. Just let me see her. Give me 10 minutes. If you want to know if she's in there, I'm the one person that can tell you. I would trade my life for hers. And that's my truth. Holt was spending hours at a time with Rachel. He'd keep me posted on his arrival and departure, and he would provide some updates, but nothing of consequence.
I believe she is in her mind, as before. but she can't move. She is unable to move her body out of pain or damage, causing paralysis. I am the only one who believes she is in there because she isn't responding. That is not anything new for Rachel, though. She wasn't responding much before this, so I can't rule her out because she isn't now. Her daughter told me that Rachel was under stress when this started, so if she is inside as her still, she may be not communicating again. We both know she is capable of it. The worst case scenario of it is she's brain dead and the nerve tests are off because she isn't feeling it in her senses. My theory is she doesn't really feel the nerve tests due to nerve damage, and the senses aren't relaying to the brain, much like the legs in a normal paralysis situation. Praying for both of you.
I was upset. I told him that I feared Rachel was gone. I was scared. I was heartbroken, thinking I would never see her again.
I'm comedian Nagin Farsad, and I know that news and politics can be stressful, but on my podcast, Fake the Nation, we're here to make them calming, even, dare I say, fun.
We have panelists like Samantha Bee, Bob the Drag Queen, Margaret Cho, David Cross, all following the news, politics, and culture so you don't have to. Distress the news with Fake the Nation on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
On September 25th, I received another note from Holt, and this one seemed to be a Hail Mary of sorts.
I have spoken with a friend of mine who specializes in areas of the brain. His name is Dr. Kantner. He has agreed to see her. He will be here tomorrow evening. I'll keep you posted.
This Dr. Kantner is an actual doctor, and a doctor that specializes in the brain. He is, however, not someone that's familiar with Rachel's name or her brain. I think Rachel got a little carried away with the Google in an attempt to continue to craft this third act.
Kantner wants to try to get in and relieve the fluid and scar tissue as much as possible. She will have another surgery. She is being prepped for that now. The surgery is a craniocervical procedure, hoping to release the pressure of some bones on her nerves and repair damage believed to be from the CPR and the violent nature of it given so much in such an isolated time. I believe she is in her mind as before, but can't move. She is unable to move her body out of pain or damage causing paralysis. I am the only one who believes she is in there because she isn't responding. That is not anything new for Rachel, though. I'll reach out to you after surgery or first thing.
A couple of long days went by, and Rachel began communicating with me again. She claimed that she could hear what people were saying around her during this time. She was aware of the videos I was sending. She remembered and was aware that Holt was speaking with her, and that she also mentioned her daughter was sitting by her bed a lot during this time. It was just awful during this period for me. There was really nothing to be hopeful for. She claimed that she couldn't remember anything about our relationship. The messages that I was getting from her, it all turned to negative again.
I need to leave here now. I don't want to die here. I want them to transport me home. I want to pass in my own bed.
And like clockwork, I got another ugly message from Holt about Rachel's situation.
Harry, she is declining more and more mentally. She is not taking care of herself or allowing anyone else to. She is showing the doctors more and more that she does not have a will to live once again. I see there were multiple requests for pain medication from her and she was not given anything. I am going to file several complaints against doctors here today for the pain and suffering they are putting upon her, which is a direct reflection of her mental state. She is in pain, and pretty severe pain, and no one takes her seriously. I do believe one doctor thinks she's addicted to pain pills because she has asked for them a few times, instead of realizing the intense pain she is in from injuries. Also that she sits in pain all the time, so if she is asking, it is bad. She got herself a massive infection, denying care. It is a bacterial infection that got to the blood and bones and even the organs. It was not labeled sepsis, but borderline sepsis. I'm ordering more tests. Regardless, the treatment for that has been exactly how it should be, and we are fighting it. She can't really refuse much that goes in the IV because it's not touching her, so we just administer it. I'm going to come back this evening and spend some time talking to her again. I sat with her 2 hours this morning, just being here for her and letting her know she has you and me and so much more. I'm sorry I was away for so long. I had a death in my own family that I needed to tend to. just made me want to help Rachel even more. She is such a special woman. I'll be around as much as I'm able to.
It was bad news, followed by bad news.
Today and tomorrow are big days in her care. I need things to turn around to positive to make decisions in her favor. The hospital administration believes that we have done all we can do, but I'm not giving up. Hospice is very much still a possibility. If she is not improving mentally and does not a will to live, there is not much more they can do here for her. We can't force rehab on her if she's not responding. I would like to get to the bottom of the why she isn't responding, and we haven't been able to that so far. Tests are showing she is in there. I really don't know why she isn't more responsive. I'll work with her more tomorrow.
There was no relief in sight for me. This was all hands on deck as far as Rachel was concerned. Her push to get me to break, to get me to leave.
Harry, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. It's time to say goodbye. I am ready to leave this world and pass on. Please let me go.
I was destroyed. I still can't figure out the end game here. I really can't. During this period of time, she also started asking again for the DNR and that medical assistance in dying paperwork. But because she continued to fail the memory tests, the hospital claimed she wasn't equipped. She wasn't competent enough, of sound mind. While she was trying to kill herself off, she was simultaneously trying to get me to the lowest point that she could. These messages from Holt, at this point, they all ended with, "Take care of yourself. Please talk to somebody." Think about that. I've shared this with you before. She knew this was killing me. This was eating me up inside. But yet she continued to do it. I can imagine her sitting back with the popcorn and her phone.
This is my favorite part coming up, where I am pretending to be Dr. Holt, and I make sure he gets some help for himself.
Harry, this is probably where you should have been seeing red flags everywhere. I'm just a figment of Rachel's imagination. Rachel is incapable of having an actual relationship. Now, I'm not a mental health doctor, or even a real doctor, but you need to know that Rachel is trying hard to break you, to get rid of you. But she was so deep in the lies that she couldn't. It was easier to try to break you than it was to be honest. You need to let that sink in. She is toying with you. This is that emotional terrorism you have spoken about. Think about how much time and how much information you were getting from me. And I'm fake. I'm just a voice in your head that shows up in your phone with bad news, piled on to bad news.
Coming up on the next episode of The Messenger, the Rachel cancer scam. The woman I told you about that lived with Mark and Rachel in 2012 and 2013. She met Rachel when Rachel was scamming another man with pregnancy and cancer. She even told this roommate that she had cancer as well. This was the beginning of her scamming people, including her family, about cancer. You'll hear about it next time on the Rachel Cancer Scam.